Welcome students of Form 3, 3B to be exact. We're talking about cultural heritage in the Caribbean, and also of Curacao, and this paragraph also belongs with that topic. It is to be found on page 125 of your study guide, and it's about transmitting and transforming Caribbean cultural heritage. Yes, we're going to talk about those words later more. What does transmit mean? What does transform mean actually? And as you know, with each paragraph, there is also a learning outcome that belongs there. And the learning outcome of this paragraph is, at the end of this topic, you will be able to evaluate the ways in which cultural heritage in the Caribbean is being transmitted and is being transformed. You see here the behavior verb. A verb is something you do, and this is what you have to be able to do at the end of this paragraph. Evaluate. What does that mean, evaluate, in this example? When you have to evaluate something, what do we mean by that? Well, we have a syllabus. It's the book about what do people of CSEC have to know in Form 3, 4, and 5. What are they being examined about in Form 5 and also during each year, so in Form 3, Form 4, and Form 5. And these behavior verbs tell you a lot what kind of questions you can expect during the assessments, during the examinations, I would like to say. Well, evaluate means the following. You have to be able to identify shortcomings, weaknesses, disadvantages, as well as strengths, advantages, and benefits. Like I like to say during class, you have to look at the pros and the cons, the strengths and the weaknesses. Look at it from different angles, actually. Yeah. And this is a deeper understanding of the topic, so you have to use your knowledge for this. Yeah, not only have knowledge, but also use the knowledge. Also use the knowledge for this. Yes? So where can you find this? In your syllabus, you look in the so-called inhoudsopgave. You look at which page you can find the behavior verbs, and you look at the list. And one of those is actually the list with behavioral verbs that you have to be prepared with before you have the test in January in our case. Yes? So evaluate is a very important verb, and at the end of this paragraph, you have to be able to evaluate the ways in which cultural heritage in the Caribbean is being transmitted and also transformed. Cambia. Yeah, changed actually. Then, heritage. What does that mean? What does the word mean? Herencia. Your heritage can be like buildings, your way of dressing, the way of doing your hair, your language, like papiamento in our case. And this is something you've been given by the generations before you. Herencia denk papiamento. Yeah. Herencia is something you inherited from your parents, your grandparents, and all the people that came before on our beautiful island of Curacao. Herencia del papimento. Yes? Okay. Let's continue. The language, ideas, beliefs, religion, music, art, dance, and dress, norms and values and technologies. So all these things, language, por ejemplo, papimento, beliefs, por ejemplo, tambu y montamento, music, again, tambu, tumba, other kinds of music styles, art, norms, values, valornan, and technologies we have inherited from our ancestors, antepasados, all contribute to our herencia cultural, our cultural heritage. Yes, all these contribute to our cultural heritage. Yes. And they came from those antepasados, they came from our ancestors. Yes, and it's reasonable, it makes sense to say that they are a part of who we are, Kengnosta, as a people. They help us to make us the people we are. to give us a sense of identity as individuals and a feeling of belonging to a wider society. Sociedad grande. We belong there. A lot of important words. So look, let's zoom in on them. Let's look at them. Yeah. Inherited, a people, identity, and belonging all contribute to a kind of cultural heritage. Yeah, so the cultural heritage is what we have inherited as a people, un pueblo. Ese que te duna nos identidad, and they give us a sense of belonging. Inherited significa heredad. Belonging significa perteneciente. Yes, and those words were very important here. Yes. Let's look further. When people express concerns about the negative influences of global mass media, like TikTok nowadays, or X, or Snapchat. I just heard yesterday that students are still using that. It's way old. But even Discord or even old school Instagram and Facebook, they are often worried their own cultural heritage, herencia cultural, will be lost or flooded out, washed out like a tsunami by the ideas, norms, and values that will inevitably, it's unavoidable, will be reflected in the material transmitted. So by TikTok, by Snapchat, by Discord, online while gaming, you get all kinds of influences all around the world that I didn't get when I grew up. So it's very different actually. Yeah. And a lot of people are worried, for instance, the culture of Curacao or the culture of Aruba or the culture of Sint Maarten is being like washed away, flooded away by all these ideas, yeah, foreign ideas, foreign norms, and foreign values that come from abroad. So some people are very worried about that the traditional culture, like the cultural heritage of Curacao, will like wash away actually. Yeah. So they're afraid that the cultural heritage, herencia cultural, yeah, will be flooded out by the ideanan, valornan, norms that will come by the global mass media of nowadays. Yes. Transmiti. So the TikTok or even Snapchat or even Discord transmiti, opimas, valornan, ideanan, noble. As a lot of people are afraid this will wash away actually the traditional culture of Curacao as it is. And there will be nothing left of the ideas and norms of Curacao to be found in its religion, its tradition, its language, papiamentu, in some of the cultural traits like tambu, yeah, that will be flooded out because of the global mass media coming online would be like a tsunami and will make all the traditions and the norms and ideas disappear actually. Yeah. People have worries about this. Worries in papiamentu, concerns. Another word for that is preocupacional. Sometimes for a Dutch tongue, these are very difficult words, I have to admit. Yeah. So some people have worries that the traditional norms actually will be flooded out, that they will disappear because a lot of people now are influenced by global mass media, gaming online. Yes. But also being on Snapchat or WhatsApp, or also using TikTok, or old school using Instagram or Facebook. And a lot of people worry about that the traditional norms of the antepasado nan will not be transmitted anymore, no longer. Yes? Well, what can help in this? In this, cultural groups can help. Groups that transmiti, the traditional music, the traditional dress, the traditional language, the traditional ideas, die antepasadanan di cosa. Yeah? So these can help transmit the norms and values of the past. Yes, there's cultural groups, music, clothing, language seek to preserve a country's uniqueness and cultural heritage by. So for instance, Arte di Palabra wants to preserve, but also more modernize, you could say, the Papiamento language. Yeah. So two-sided, they want to preserve it, and on the other hand, they also want to celebrate it and renew it, you could say. So cultural groups seek to preserve a country's uniqueness and cultural heritage by different things, helping people to understand their cultural background, providing cultural knowledge, conocimiento cultural, information, encouraging young people, yeah, to develop pride, orgulloso, in their own culture, and providing alternatives to the foreign cultures coming by global mass media. Yes. So there is a way of balancing the influence of global mass media by cultural groups who work to preserve a herencia cultural, nanta preservar a herencia cultural. Yeah. And they preserve it from the influencia grandi, the global mass media. Yes. One instance of this is Rescate di Cultura. They're very active at the Sky VSBO, preserving and spreading knowledge about Seu and the ram's horn that was blown on the countryside, the different instruments used in traditional Curaçao music, for instance, during Tambu. They try to spread this knowledge, plama e conhecimento de tópico non aqui. And by spreading them, they hope to preserve a country's uniqueness and cultural heritage. So this organization is one cultural group that does this on the island of Curaçao, but also Arte di Palabra is also a similar cultural group that tries to organize this. Example: you should be able to identify groups in which traditional Caribbean cultures are presented and how the cultures can be transformed or interpreted today. So we're talking about that right now, actually. Identify means name them, yeah, and also describe how they're being transformed and are being interpreted anew, like Arte di Palabra does with the Papiamento language, but also Rescate di Cultura does this with the traditional music and traditional ways of making music of Curaçao to spread plama e conhecimento aqui. You may need to suggest that this is something you have to think about yourself, your own knowledge and the use of knowledge, how it can be best transmitted, and what policies and strategies should be used by the gobierno or cultural groups to promote this. Yes. So this is really the use of knowledge. You have to be able to suggest this. Suggest means come up with solutions by yourself. Pretty important. Identify means name or point out specific components or features. Like I said, it's knowledge and comprehension. And the other one is suggest. It's offer advice or explanation or course of action deducted from information provided based on previous knowledge, conhecimento aanwezig, or based on authoritative information. And this is all about the use of knowledge. Usa e conhecimento. So you have knowledge and you use this knowledge actually. This exam tip that you can see here on the yellow post-it, you can also find on page 125 and 126 actually. Yeah, the post-its, please look at them. They help you in preparing for the test. Suggest is like an example of the use of knowledge that you also can find actually on this post-it here. Suggest, and it's use of knowledge. Let's continue. Yes, so policies is a difficult word. Policies has nothing to do with police, actually, not in its use today. Policies means polisa, but also al metodo, or also strategy. So which metodo, qua metodo, or qua polizia, which knowledge, which policy do you use, which method do you use to promote Curaçaoan cultural heritage? Its music, its dress, its food. Think about this yourself. That's actually the question in this